So we have the privilege of having a very distinguished guest and meditator from Germany.
Thank you.
And so could you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, my name is Jorn from Germany, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to visit you here. I'm traveling since 32 years in India,
Mhm.
all over. I got in touch with meditation, primarily Vipassana meditation in India and Nepal
Mhm.
26 years back.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to go into a deeper understanding. And that brings me to places like this, also to meet other fellow companions on the path of the clarity and less suffering, from the bondage into the freedom, from the suffering into a non suffering, from the identifications into a liberation. And that was bringing me to here, to you also, Anandji.
Mhm.
And I would like to ask you today to throw a light on the dilemma of the humankind, which we all have to face. This is the old age, the sickness,
Mhm.
and dying. What is your what is your perspective on the suffering of old age, sickness, and dying? Because we all have to face it, even though that I practice so many years
Mhm.
the understanding of impermanence even within, and not only studying it outside with plants, with the grandmother who passed away and relatives and friends, but I'm studying and contemplating impermanence and fading away also inside.
Mhm.
But still, I feel it is so difficult to face old age, my teeth, my hair, my wrinkles, my knee, my
Mhm.
shoulder, my back, sickness. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
sick. Oh, I might die. I might die. It's too much. It might be a serious sickness. And looking into the face of death, sooner or later, even we have to die. We know now the moment is coming. What will help us to face the nature of old age, sickness, and death?
Yeah, this is my favorite topic.
Hey,
And so when I was about 21, 22, I was under treatment. There was something wrong with my body. I was treated for 18 months, and then in the end, doctors said that I was going to die in 3 months, and there is no cure anywhere in the world. And because they said that my intestines were rotten, and they could replace parts of the intestine with rubber tubes, but still the chances of survival were very slim. And although nobody told me directly, but I came to know about this. Although I didn't believe in the doctors, I didn't believe in them, but there was this question: even if I survive, what am I going to do? Because what did I do so far? And if I die, and if there is another life, then that another life will also be like this one. And then I must have existed before this life. What is the meaning of this?
mm,
So it was not so much the fear of death as the meaninglessness of life.
mm,
Anyway, so for those 3 months, I was with death. Uh, Even in my dreams, and when I was awake, there was death in the eyes of people who would look at me. Everybody was waiting for me to die because I had lost the use of my legs. So there was a boy 2 3 years younger than me, and he would pick me up to take me to bathroom. I needed to go to bathroom every 3 days for urinating, and every once in 8 days, I would pass a little bit of stool. And so anyway, then it's a long story, but an Ayurvedic doctor cured me, and I was full of enthusiasm. But it was an extension. I knew that there was death. I was going to die, and now I will die some days later, some years later. So I have been given this extra time. What am I going to do? And since then, whatever project I thought of, I would look at it from death backwards. Usually we think of life ahead. When you are young, you think of things that you will do. I will get married and I will make a house and I will do this and I will do that. But I would look at all of those things from death backwards, and most of the things didn't make any sense. And that has helped me a great deal. Then I discovered meditation. It was many years later. But before that, it had become my tendency to look at things uh, as as just for now, for the present moment. And making a house for now, not forever, because uh, you will use it for some time and then you will die. And I think that was very good for me. Now every day is a new day, and I know that there is end. But then the another thing, what will have to happen? What should we do to deal with this fear and pain and grief involved with old age, and before that old age and sickness, and then finally death? So yeah, I think meditation is the only thing that will come useful. And I was reading something that with this practice, so they practice marana sati. Marana sati is meditating on death, imagining all of the things that you love uh, disintegrating, and then your own body, and then there is nothing. So imagine that again and again. They do sittings just for that, and sometimes they do chanting. So I'll just read a verse from Buddha. Isakam anivattam tam satatam gamanussukam jivitam udaya attam suryo via dhavati. Life without stopping a moment ever keeps on moving, runs on towards death, like the sun that travels to set without stopping after it rises. Very good reminder. And another thing that I discovered is Thukdam, that some Buddhists practice. Mahayana Buddhists practice Thukdam. Thukdam is the phenomenon of staying alive even after death. Your body has died, according to the medical science, there is no pulse, there is no heartbeat, but your body is warm for many days and fresh, and there is this expression of bliss. So, this Tibetan doctors say that this person is not completely dead, the person is in meditation, and they call it bardo. Bardo. So, they say this is the last bardo, the most powerful. Bardo means gap. So, the first one is gap between two breaths. You breathe in and breathe out, and there is gap. So, be aware of that gap. Gap between two thoughts. One thought has gone away, another thought has not come yet, so there is this gap. Then the third gap is between waking and sleeping. You are awake, you are sleeping, and there is one particular moment when there is a shift of consciousness, if you can catch that moment. So that, they say, is another gap, bardo. But the longest and the most useful bardo is when the body has died, physical body, but you are still alive. And they call this phenomenon thukdam. So in India, there was a case in Bangalore, or Bangalore as it is called these days. A 90-year-old lady, Chokpa Tenzin. And this news came out on 16 September 2020. And she was alive even after 7 days. And there were neurologists also there examining her body, and they were amazed, because for Indian doctors it was a miracle, but for Tibetan doctors it was a common phenomenon. They had known it. So I think if somebody practices meditation, uh, then that is the way. And but in order to continue practicing meditation, one has to have a very clear mind, uh, from a very young age, that all of these things that I'm accumulating, that I need for now, um, are of no use when death comes. When death comes, nothing is useful. My wealth, my name, my fame, all of this must have happened before, and then I think it is possible. I will tell you one more case. This happened in Gujarat. I think in I forget the name of the city, but I was in a Vipassana center, and this manager had become very close friend of mine, because I had come to meditate, but he said, "You are an old meditator. Why don't you do some seva?" I said, "What seva?" And he said, "This ceiling, it was woodwork, very intricate woodwork, kitchen, needs to be painted." It took me 31 days to paint it, and I had never done that work before. So because of that, he had become very close friend of mine, and also other people in the management. Earlier, they thought I was a painter by profession, because it seems that I did it well, although I was doing it for the first time. And then later they discovered that I was not a painter, and I had been a lecturer at a college and so on. And they got sort of very impressed. But one day, this manager in the evening, so he was very relaxed and talking on the phone. No, no, no problem. Yeah, he came one day before, but it's okay. We will make arrangement. And yeah, Vipassana starts day after tomorrow, but let him come today. And so that was okay. After about an hour, he was very panicky, and he was, so what? How so? So what should I do? And so I knew there was some problem. So then I asked him what happened. Then he told me the story. So what had happened was, An old man, about 80, 80 plus maybe, had traveled all the way from Bombay to this city in Gujarat all alone. And then he went to this Vipassana office in the city. And they said the center is 14 kilometers away from the city, but it doesn't start tomorrow. It starts day after tomorrow. So you came one day earlier. We said, but please make arrangement. They said, yeah, we will, but there is no vehicle. We will have to find a vehicle. Now, there was somebody from the management. He was going to the center, from the city to the center, 14 kilometers, and coming back. So he said, I'll take this old man with me, and no problem. And so he said, but I will come around maybe 8, and it was only 6:30 maybe. So they said, you will have to wait to this old man. And the old man said, can you give me a chair, a wooden chair with a straight back, and I want to sit like this, cross-legged. So they had a chair like that somewhere, and so he sat, and his head was against the wall. Maybe the chair was against the wall, and he started meditating. And after about 1 hour, this car came. This man said, where is the old man? They said, but he is meditating. He said, okay, then I'll wait some more. So he waited maybe 1 more hour. Now it was maybe 8:30 or something. He said, I need to come back then. So you please wake, tell him. So then somebody came and he said, sir, there was no response. So he shook him, caught hold of his shirt and shook him a little bit, no response. And then suddenly he checked his pulse and there was no pulse. And he said, there is something wrong. Call the doctor. The doctor said, he's gone. And then they informed the people in Bombay because he had a contact number that they had written. And those people said, but it will take us time to travel and please keep him safe somewhere, whatever. But it was so surprising to me that this person died in meditation, just sitting on the chair. And they were saying there was a very calm expression on his face, and he was gone. I don't think there is a better way than this. Some people make like arrangements for old age. Like there was a film actor, very, very famous and very rich. So he made a huge house in Bombay for all of his sons and their families, but nobody lived with him when he was too old. So he had a nurse with him who used to do everything, including taking care of his body. She was a nurse in the very end, and he was very miserable because this kind of arrangement is good for the body, but this psychologically you are fragile, you have no preparation for death, and that is not going to work.
Short question. Some people might be not in a very good condition health wise, so it might be difficult to sit upright or even to practice serious insight meditation. So, what would you suggest to those who have strong pains, heavy handicaps, but still want to be somehow aware? What could they do
Mhm.
to keep the process of dying or supporting the process of dying, even that they are having already very much discomfort, strong pain,
Mhm.
etc.? What would you suggest For those people, what can they do?
At least awareness of the breath, because as long as somebody is alive, uh, and this person is breathing, awareness of the breath, and with every breath, like this thanking, thanking the universe, thanking God, or whatever the person, some higher power. And this faith helps, faith in whatever form, some power greater than you that is taking care of you and everybody else. So with every breath, this feeling of surrender, this feeling of surrender, as long as you are giving me this breath, I'm thankful to you.
Hmm.
With every breath, and that should work.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Anansi.